Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
No, the Xbox 360. Now you're giving me the silent treatment? My dog and I were just arguing over which was the best console out there. I say it's the Xbox 360. He says it's the PS3. And since we're disagreeing now, he's not talking to me. Well, that's not going to keep me from reading this top 5 list. It's submitted by Amez, another member of the community at large, who submitted a top 5 list of keeping your Xbox 360 running. And, a lot of them may seem to be common sense to people like you or I, who have been used to the Xbox 360 or any kind of gaming console, any type of hardware in general. But this list, I think, was largely designed for people who really are just getting started with the console, well, specifically the Xbox 360. Number 1, keep the Xbox 360 off the carpet. The Xbox 360 is drooling to suck in dust, and having it on the carpet just helps it out even more. Clear out a space on the shelf and away from where it can suck up dust and debris. Do you agree on that one, Wicket? Can you at least give me that? He's looking at me now uncomfortably, but I think we're in agreement here. You got to keep that thing off the carpet. It's very important. Of course, I'd also say the same thing about any kind of PC in general. Would do better elevated away from any kind of floor. Number 2, keep the Xbox 360 in its own clear space. Having it in a cabinet or against a wall can build up heat, causing it to overheat. It can be on a shelf, just not too close to anything that might be against it, specifically where the fans are located on the back. And that's very important to keep in mind. A lot of overheating happens because the Xbox 360 or any type of hardware is in an enclosed environment, in an enclosed space, where ventilation is just not good enough, if it even exists there at all. Number 3, intercooler. In my opinion, it could wreck the 360 itself. Now, this again is from Amez. The Xbox 360 already has 2 fans at the back. Putting the intercooler on is just conflicting with the fans on the back. If it's getting too hot, I suggest getting a room fan and turning it to blow a bit of air onto it. Now, Amez is not the only person to suggest that the intercooler doesn't do a good job. I picked one up because I was thinking I was having heating issues, and I tried everything else, and someone had said to me, no, they've actually destroyed Xbox 360s before. So take that tip to heart, especially if you have one or you're thinking about getting an add-on fan to keep the Xbox 360 cooler. When he suggests turning a fan to blow air onto it, that's also very important. He's saying onto it, not into it. Blowing air into something, unless of course it's an old Nintendo cartridge, is not usually a good thing. The air is trying to escape. The hot air is trying to leave. It's trying to exit the building, not go into it. So let the air come out. Don't blow air in. In, out, in, out, in, out. Wax on, wax off. Number 4, be careful. When inserting game or moving the 360, do it gently. I see a lot of people not handling it properly, and wondering why it stopped working correctly. When handling the Xbox 360, remember to be gentle. I think it's a good point, important point to make, considering that the Xbox 360's hard drive is removable, and the idea is that you could take it from place to place to place. It's always good to treat any of your electronics with care, for one reason. Well, number 1, you probably spent good money on your electronics, and number 2, you never know when you're going to turn around and sell that. And I've always gotten good resale out of all of my used equipment because I take really good care of this stuff. And that's a very good tip to keep in mind. Number 5, the Nico cooling station. I suggest this over the intercooler any day. It goes on the bottom rather than on the back, adding more cooling to the bottom to get all the heat to come out. Well, I don't know if that really helps all the heat come out. I think we're boring him to death. He's waiting for some PS3 tips. And even worse, my other dog, Pixie, she's asleep on the floor right now because she likes the Wii tips. But they got to be good. Otherwise, this is what happens. Now, I'm not saying that this isn't a bad list. This is a great list. In fact, the nickel cooling station would probably work better in theory because I know for my laptop cooler, it's sitting underneath it and blowing air onto the bottom of this particular laptop, and I'm always running like 10 to 15 degrees cooler because there's air that's being properly blown onto the unit, not through it. That's a very important distinction to make. Thanks, Chris. Just thought I'd share some tips. Amez, Thank you again for submitting these things. I appreciate any kind of top 5 list you guys might have, whether it's related to gaming, hardware, software, the internet, tips, tricks in general. Doesn't even need to be related to technology at all. Any top 5 tips that you might have, send them to me, chris@pirillo.com, especially if they're well written. And of course, I hope you know what you're talking about. Now, I would tend to agree with every one of his points, so that's one of the reasons why I decided to share his list. I read every bit of email that I get, and if I don't get to your top 5 list, it could be for a variety of reasons. One, it wasn't written very well, or number 2, because we may have already done one on that topic that you submitted about. So keep them fresh. Keep them sent in, and of course, stay active in the community. If you hadn't noticed, I've got people below us. Actually, it's not physically below us. I mean, virtually. They're chatters right now in the chat room, because that's where chatters usually go when they want to chat. And a lot of lurkers, not just people who are actively talking. Come on! He says, come on in, the chat's warm. It's absolutely true. We're warm. The people, at least, who hang out on a regular basis. We're friendly folk. We don't bite, usually. Well, unless, of course, Wicket's around, you get into a whole PS3 versus Xbox 360 versus Wii argument. Those, let me tell you, those get awfully heated, speaking of overheating issues. Anyway, if you'd like to meet me in a semi-personal sense, or my dog, well, then you're welcome to stop by the chat room or the live video feed, which is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, at live.pirillo.com. Wicket, can I have my hand back? That I usually sign off with my right hand. Can I? This feels awkward. We'll see you later.